guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a tutorial. It's a little bit different to what I usually do. I am actually using a wedding photograph here, and I thought I would sort of do it to celebrate the start of my new business that is mainly focusing on weddings and families and couples. And I'm actually doing this in conjunction with my boyfriend Dan, who is also a photographer. So we're doing this business together on the side, and then we're doing our own genres of photography and focusing on that too. So I thought I would do some wedding photograph tones today, if there is such a thing, I guess. But I did actually have a request from someone, and it was to do some kind of faded, pretty moody tones. And I actually thought they would be really well suited, more so to wedding photographs anyway. So that's why I've used a wedding photograph today. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you're ever wanting to use these tones, they might look really nice on wedding images. So there is going to be a few adjustments in this tutorial today, and it might get a bit confusing, and I'm sorry if it does get a bit confusing, because usually my tutorials I feel are relatively straightforward, but these will have quite a few adjustments. So yeah, just if you guys get a bit stuck, just maybe pause the video at certain points, or just watch it through a little bit more slowly if possible. So my first adjustment today is going to be using curves, because I love curves and I always use curves. So okay, the first adjustment is going to be 12 and 0. So we're just going to move that up there. And the next adjustment will be 40 and 37. And then the next adjustment will be 91 and 93. Then the next adjustment will be 179 and 180. And the next one will be 217 and 230. And the last one for the RGB will be 232 and 255. Okay, so just by doing that, we've really softened the image a little bit, kind of given it that vintage feel, which is really popular, especially among wedding photographers these days, and wedding photographs. So I'll show you guys what that's done. It's really just gotten a lot of the highlights and softened them a little bit, made them not so bright. So we're going to keep on the curves adjustment layer at the moment, and then we're going to go to the red channel. Now we're going to map out a few points in this channel as well. So the first one will be 0 and 4. The next one will be 61 and 72. The next one will be 146 and 145. And the next one will be 211 and 206. And the last one will be 255 and 247. Okay, so just by doing that, we've kind of tweaked the reds in the image and the blues. So you'll see a little bit more blue in the darker parts of the image and a little bit more red in the lighter parts. So the next channel we're going to adjust is the green channel. We're going to keep the first point at 0, and then just move 1 point to 152 and 149. So that's really just giving the image a little bit more green in the midtones. And now we're going to adjust the blue channel, and we're going to leave the first point as 0 again, and then we're going to map out a point that is 46 and 42. Then the next one will be 242 and 240. And then the last one will be just 255. Okay, so we're done with curves for now. So now we'll move on to getting a solid color up. And this one is going to be 3E4 251. So just a really faded dark blue color. And we're going to set this one to difference at 14%. So it's going to keep the highlights pretty similar to what they already are, but it's going to really change the shadows in the image. So that's what that's done. It's just given it a little bit more of a softer feel, a bit of a cooler feel to it. And now we're going to bring up selective color. So this is where it's probably going to start to get a bit confusing and very numbers based. But first off, we're going to change the reds. So the reds will be 0 for cyan, 15 for magenta, 9 for yellow, and 0 for black. Then we're going to change the yellow, and it's going to be minus 39 for cyan. Magenta is going to be minus 17. Yellow is going to be minus 34. And then black will be 0 again. So the yellows and the reds we've just tweaked have really drained out the colour a little bit more, the warmth so much in the image, but given it kind of a lighter feel as well, not so saturated. So the greens we're going to alter next, and this one's going to be dramatically altered because we really want to drain all the green out of the image, and well, not necessarily drain it, but like change it, sort of tweak it so it's not as green essentially. So we're going to go minus 100 for cyan, and then we're going to go plus 100 for magenta. Then we're going to go minus 81 for yellow, and just 0 for black. Now we're going to change the cyan. Cyan will be minus 36. Magenta will be 21. And then 0 and 0 for yellow and black. So we're really just sort of changing the greener parts of the image and kind of giving it a little bit more of a dull feel. Also a bit more of a grey-blue tinge. And now we're just going to change the neutrals. So it will be minus 9 for cyan, minus 2 for magenta, minus 4 for yellow, and 0 for black. So there we go. We've kind of changed it even more with the neutrals in the image overall. And now we're going to bring up color balance. And we're going to set these numbers. So minus 5 for cyan and red. And it's going to be minus 4 for magenta and green. And then for yellow and blue, it's going to be plus 6. So in that, we have really given the image a little bit more of a pink tone to it, but not really saturated, sort of gotten rid of more of the green in the image. Then we will bring up another selective color. So now that we've got selective color up, we're just going to change the magentas in the image. I didn't want to tweak the other selective color too much, so it's just sometimes it's just easier to add another adjustment layer on top. So we're just going to move magenta down to 0 for cyan, minus 71 for magenta, and 0 and 0 for yellow and black. We'll just see what that did. And it's removed a bit of the pink from the dress. It was a pink tinged dress, but it was just looking a bit saturated in this area, so that's kind of gotten rid of that a little bit more. Okay, so after we've altered the magentas, we're just going to go down to neutrals again, and we're going to give the image a little bit more of a green-blue tinge. So to do that, we're just going to alter the neutrals now. And the first one under cyan will be plus 2, then minus 11 under magenta, minus 10 under yellow, and then 0 for black. Now we're going to change the blacks, and we're going to put plus 12 in cyan, plus 6 in magenta, plus 6 in yellow, and then leave blacks as 0. So in doing that, we've just given it a little bit more of a blue tinge, as I said before. So that's really just cooled the photo down a bit, made it seem a little bit more moodier as well, I think. And I think as a finishing touch, we're just going to get a vibrance up. And we're going to change the vibrance to just minus 3, I think, just to give it a little bit more of a faded look. Okay, and now I'm going to take a snapshot because this is the finished product, and we'll see what the before looks like. So that is the before image, and this is the after image. So they're really nice moody tones to add to your wedding photographs in particular, although I guess you can use this on many different images. This is a really popular look going around at the moment, and for the request that this was, it was from one photographer, but because his images are all very different, and the toning is very different in all his images, I just sort of made something a little bit inspired by his tones, I guess, overall. And this is, like I said, a very popular look amongst wedding photos these days, and yeah, feel free to use them in your own photos and see how they turn out. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I will hopefully have some more videos up soon, but for now I will see you next time. Bye!